Amazing. So, welcome to everyone who is watching us on the replay. I am so excited to have this call today. Today, I have brought on to a Zoom call one of my private mentorship clients, Fran. I have a group of 5 women who I am taking through 13 classes in 2023. And I really wanted to give a bit of an insight into what happens and what the experience is like with the mentorship in case you're considering it for 2024. And just to share a little bit more about it, because I do keep it quite on the down low. I don't share too much of the mentorship experience on my socials because it is such a personal healing container space that I really encourage those who are in the mentorship to only share what they feel they're really wanting to share from that journey. So, sorry, excuse me. Well, I guess I want to start with allowing you to just introduce yourself a little bit, Fran.
I am Fran and I joined the mentorship this year at the last minute. I wasn't sure if I was, willing to invest in myself that much, and I am so glad that I did. I've had like a bit of a rough start to my life, and just want to grow and heal and do all the things.
Amazing. So I guess the first thing that I wanted to talk about is how the mentorship has impacted your sense of self-trust.
Epically. I Before the mentorship, I questioned probably everything. Every decision I made, everything I did, like I would dissect it over and over again. And these days, like I don't question myself. Like it's not a common thing that I do. It's far less these days.
Beautiful. And since going through all of these classes now, so we're into almost midway through our classes for the year, which is exciting. How do you feel that like the healing journey through all of this has also helped with you in terms of your confidence to manifest? Because this was like almost a side thing that we did within the mentorship was really also taking a look at our desires and our pathway and our manifestation. How do you feel that since really healing that sense of self-trust, but also all your other healing, how do you feel that's impacted your manifestations?
So I went from like being so low in my self-esteem and confidence, especially with manifesting. Like I was at a point where I just literally believed that that was something I couldn't do.
Yep.
Like at all. And then it went from that to me thinking maybe I'm really good at manifesting, but like manifesting bad things for myself. And then we did the manifestation class, and it literally like my brain did like a 180. I realized like exactly where I was going wrong and like just how much power I had within me to manifest the things that I actually desire and not like little bad things all the time. And yeah, it's just like I've just done a complete 180 with manifesting. It's crazy just from the first class. Like, yeah.
That momentum masterclass was super powerful. And I love that it
Yeah.
really brought everyone back into the present moment as well and what they can manifest now and not just what they can manifest, 20, 30 years from now as well. So one of the biggest things that we focus on is a holistic approach in the mentorship. So we're really looking at mind, body, spirit. We're really looking at the inner child and the ego and ourselves. And we're looking at all these different mindset patterns, not just the mindset that we have now. How do you feel that you've gone navigating such a personal space and a personal journey of healing, but in a group container?
I think it's helped me feel more like people can relate to me and I can actually relate to other people more, I feel less alone in my journey, because shadow work and, just healing and growth in general can make you feel extremely isolated.
Yeah.
But the mentorship has really made it like more obvious to me just how many people are working on themselves behind closed doors. And like it's just nice knowing that like I have a whole bunch of other girls that are like just as invested in themselves as what I am in myself.
Definitely. And how do you feel like having that space, like, so you've got all these other women and they can relate to you and you're all going through the exact same classes. How do you feel? So we recently opened up a separate space in the mentorship, which I actually haven't spoken about online at all yet. And there's a separate little chat that allows you girls to connect with each other. How do you feel about having that kind of space there within your journey?
It's nice to know that I have like a dedicated place to go and like share the exciting things that happen, like when I have little epiphanies from like the classes that we've done, and like any wins that I have. It's nice to know that I've got a dedicated place to go and share that with other people who are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And knowing that like the girls have an opportunity to share with me, like it's exciting to hear what they're going through as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. And so then like looking at the hot seat calls, so every single month we get together for one call every month, whether there is a class or whether it's a gap month. There's always a call every single month where I invite you all to ask questions and we go deeper. How do you feel you've benefited from those calls? What do you feel about those calls that we have each month?
I feel like they've been the greatest opportunity to make sure that I'm on the same page as everyone else. And like, it's like the best opportunity to go in and get like any of my questions answered that I'm not sure of, or just make sure I've not missed anything or anything like that. It's been super helpful to know that I can, jot down in my journal, like I've got to ask this question, or if I've missed out on something, and know that we've got a call coming where I can get those answers.
Yeah, beautiful. And one of the best things, I suppose, also about those hot seat calls is the fact that I, in real time, witness you all learning off each other, because one of you might have a question that the other person, didn't even think of on those moments. And then you've all had and been able to share in that learning experience together, which is so powerful as well. Just having someone else have like that third eye perspective on your healing journey and being like, oh, and what about this and what about that, and how does that relate, and what do I do in this? And I think the power of that in itself really takes it up that next level as well, within the mentorship, where you can just really bounce things off each other and see what each other are thinking and what other blocks have come up for someone else that maybe you haven't had come up for you just yet as well. What do you feel this year so far? We obviously still have more classes to go. What do you feel has been like the most non-negotiable class for you, that you would say, whether you're in the mentorship, whether you're not in the mentorship, like if there was a class to step into this year, what would it be, and how do you feel about that class?
For me, I think it's wounded, because while not a lot of people are aware of shadow work, and like really like what that actually entails and like the ins and outs of that, I feel like Wounded was a really good class to learn things that you wouldn't even be aware to ask those questions. I learned so much more about like different types of wounds and stuff that I had no idea about prior to that class. And I had been doing shadow work for a year or more before that, consciously. But yeah, that class just was so informative for me. I learned a lot about myself, and I still, like, every week will be able to go back to that class and pick out like what is happening with myself and how to go about dealing with it.
Yeah. So
Especially without
like
overwhelming myself.
yeah. So you feel like it's giving
Yeah.
you a strategy for in the moment practices, then really
Yeah.
you that awareness. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. And I feel like it is such a foundational session to give people that insight into what it is. And I think more so even than just what it is, but what to do with it as well. I think a lot of people are like, oh, inner child healing, shadow work, I can do all these things. And as you've experienced through this year, shadow work is a lot more than just journaling. There's so
Yep.
many things that come up for you in the moment, and you don't have the ability to always just sit there with your journal, and so you do have to have those strategies to work with it and process it as well. Within this year, we had a very exciting program, which was Sacred Rising. This is like just one of my most favorite things ever is Sacred Rising. And a few years ago, I ran something very similar. But this year was the first year that I got to run it completely live in the group container. And it is so exciting. So, for anyone who's watching, essentially, it is a 4-week back to back program that takes you through intuitive development and recognizing your clairsenses in action, not just when you're trying to tap into them, but like literally in action in the moment, and going through how to strengthen them. What are your takeaways from that program there, and everything that you want to share on that?
How much time do we have?
Up to you.
Yeah. That class was so fun, and that class gave me a lot of confidence in myself. Like, that built a lot of confidence for me, because I grew up like being able to like sense people's like energy, but I always thought that that was just like something that everyone did, and it was, you know, just as normal as knowing when someone's pulling a sad face or a happy face or something. I just thought everyone could do that. And that class really made it so clear as to like where my clairsenses are strongest, and where like it's actually so simple to build on that.
Yeah.
And I discovered that one of the clairsenses that I actually am, I never had much confidence with, or never thought that I would be able to experience that at all, was clairvoyance. And I'm just starting to realize like how easily I can build that up.
And how
And it's
present it
just,
is. Yeah.
yeah, like, so visualization for me is something that I find extremely easy. And yeah, I just thought that claircognizance was probably my strongest sense. But yeah, that class just it built so much like in me, and I have so much more confidence in like my inner knowing, and like what I can get out of my clairsenses, and just by doing simple things as well. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, that class.
Yeah, it was so fun. And how do you feel about, so there was to give a little bit of insight into these sessions, we went through quite a few things about, balancing our energy and strengthening our senses and recognizing our senses. There was a really fun one towards the end where I actually got everyone to read each other's energy. And this, I won't give too much context into it, but how did you feel about that? Because that was quite a challenging task for everyone to step into, and I guess somewhat confronting to really be put on the spot to go, okay, well, this is your homework, like go home and then see what you can pick up.
Yeah, so I went from being super nervous about that, reading people's photos, and reading people's energy. I was so nervous about it, to like basically playing games with it with one of my friends afterwards. Like, we were sending each other photos afterwards, and yeah, just I had literally no confidence in myself. I was like, oh, you know, like we weren't obligated to share our like findings or anything, but like I just felt like if I don't, like it will limit my growth. So I, you know, with everything am an open book. So I was like, I'm just going to jump in the deep end and be out there with it.
Yeah, and I do admire that this year, every single thing that you have stepped into, you have like completely immersed yourself in and just jumped fully in. How do you feel like that has benefited your journey by, and we had a discussion around this the other day as well about talking about vulnerability and your healing journey. How do you feel by really placing like every single thing on the table and just completely jumping in, and you were jumping in from the deep end as well, really quite new to a lot of my sessions when you jumped into the mentorship. How do you feel like that's benefited you from being so open to jumping into it all?
I'm so glad that I had that mindset from the beginning, because while there's still growth and healing to be done without being that open, I feel like the more open you are and the more willing you are to share with others like what you're going through, like good, bad, and otherwise, um, it it benefits me, um, being that open and vulnerable with people. And in the mentorship, I just felt completely supported and nurtured. And yeah, I still just feel like I can just say anything and share everything. Like if it's something that I'm not too proud of with myself, like I still will just admit to it, and there will be a conversation that we can have about, you know, how to go about healing that part of me. And it's never judgmental.
Yeah.
So
And how do you
yeah.
feel like, so do you feel like your sense of self-expression has really also felt a lot safer this year in through going through your healing journey and being able to share a lot of things now and opinions that maybe beforehand you would have really reserved?
Yeah, so speaking my truth was a problem. It was not my strongest suit, I guess. Um, but it's the mentorship, and like having you as a mentor and having the girls there has like made me realize how safe I am to be able to do that. And it's like seeped into my everyday life as well. So like at work, when someone asks me something that's spiritually inclined, I am more than happy to answer that question with no reservations at all. Whereas if the same thing was to happen to me a year ago, I would have felt extremely nervous about that and tried to back out of that conversation as quickly as possible. So yeah, there's just been an immense amount of growth with that for me.
Yeah, and I feel like we've really witnessed that a lot in your socials as well. You have your little social media page there where
Yeah.
you share things. And I one of the posts that just really stayed with me that you shared was about it not being like your responsibility in how other people receive you. Like that
Yeah.
post that you shared was like you can just see the growth in that mindset of I'm no longer like going from this energy of I need to tippy toe around everyone to like take care of everyone to like I'm going to take care of me first. And then if you don't receive that very well, then you also have some inner work to do kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that. I love how it's really starting to show as well in your outer world and beyond just our mentorship container that we're starting to see it happen for you. How do you feel like the mentorship has affected your home life? Like you do have to commit a certain amount of time to the mentorship each month. How do you feel like you've managed to balance all of that?
I just simply haven't worried about it. It's been so easy. Like I attend most things live. I don't think I've missed anything actually so far.
Yep.
But with work, like I might finish at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and if I get home at 4:45 and we have class at 5 o'clock and I'm just not feeling it, I know that that's okay, and I can revisit that class the next day or even a week later. So even like just knowing that, like if I do miss a class, it's not like I've actually missed it. Like I can still just revisit that and I can watch it as many times as I want. It's just been so easy. Like I haven't even thought about it really.
It's almost like a bonus that you can attend live, because it's like I could just be filming it, but everyone gets to watch me while I'm filming it in the moment too. Yeah. So it is like that really laid back approach of like, it's not a big deal if you can't show up on that live session, because you can just do it when it suits you in that time frame. And of course, I suppose there is, you know, a basic time frame of completing a class to being able to ask your questions in the hot seat, but knowing that if you don't ask your question this month, you can ask it next month. Like it is that bit flexible, which I love. What about the release circle? So we've talked about, like, you've got your little Voxer chat there with all the girls that you can connect with. We've talked about, we've got our monthly classes, or almost every month. We've talked about our Sacred Rising program. And our hot seat calls. What about this release circle that happens every month?
I like rely on them. I rely on release circles because if I have like a really busy month, like with 3 kids and a partner, and then I've got my mother-in-law here, and you know I work 36 hours a week, it's easy to get sidetracked for me personally with like my own self-care and the things that I could be doing in my free time. So with release circles, it's like a non-negotiable for me to attend that. Like I'm not missing those, because it's time that I feel like is specifically set aside for me to like collect myself again and release anything that's no longer serving me, and really like just tune back into where I'm at, you know, where I need to go next. And yeah, just it's so good. I love them. Release circles are the best.
Yeah, that's so good. So for those of you who are watching this replay, we literally only got off a release circle call like an hour ago. So we're already starting Sunday off feeling amazing. How do you feel that through this whole journey, how do you feel about continuing into the future of your journey now? How do you feel being able to take everything that you've learned through your classes to keep going?
Not only do I have more of a connection with my higher self, my inner child, my spirit guides, and just source in general, but like I just know how capable I am to look after myself. It's really given me tools that I will use for the rest of my life and be able to hand down to my kids. Like it's literally priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. There is so many things in there. And I think that class that we did, the last one of your legacy, really reinstated that as well, of being like, yes, this is my why. This is why I've been doing it, which is so helpful, because I think we start off on these journeys and we we have this vision of what everything's going to be like, and then we realize halfway through that we almost have to reframe that mindset and go, okay, well, this is what's serving me now, because as we shed layers, we bring in new intentions as well. So it's amazing that a lot of what you've learned you can continue to take with you. Is there anything else that you feel like you would say to someone, or anything that you want to share about the mentorship that you feel like someone else would want to know stepping into it?
Just that it's not as scary as you might feel like it is prior to joining. Like you're gonna experience so much personal growth within yourself that anything little that like you may be feeling negative about or worried about experiencing, just it's just not there at all. It's such a supportive environment, and the more open you are to healing and being honest with yourself, the more this program's going to benefit you.
Amazing. I love that. I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing about your experiences here in the mentorship. I am so excited because, like I said, we're only like almost halfway through and there's still so many classes to go for the year. And I'm really excited knowing what is coming through for everyone this year. And as you mentioned before the call, the timing of these calls seem to line up with everyone in the mentorship so well with what stage of life they're at in the journey, which I feel like cracks us up every time because we're a bit like, oh, the timing of this is so intuitively picked.
Every single class.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've absolutely loved running the mentorship this year, and I am so excited to continue seeing where everyone's transformation and growth is. And I just want to thank you again for jumping on this call with me and sharing this with everyone. And if anyone has any questions about the mentorship, so 2023 access is closed. You can't sign up for it, but you can sign up for the individual classes and the release circles. But if you are interested in jumping in for 2024, you're welcome to send me a message and get some information towards that. And enrollments for that will open in August. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.